Hello, readers of Every Word, and welcome to Every Word 365. I'm your host, Christina Madsen. Today we are reading Leviticus 4 through 7. So these readings may not be as fun or as interesting as reading stories about a large boat or a mass exodus and the parting of the seas, am I right? And I've heard from some of you about how repetitive and monotonous this book is, and not only are you right, it's going to get worse before it gets better, just being honest. That's why it's so important to be committed to this and not just do it because it's fun or easy or anything like that. That's why I had you sign the covenant and really commit to this and understand what you're committing to, because I personally think those stories with a beginning, middle, and end are a little bit more fun than all of this. Not or less important, just more difficult to read sometimes. Okay. So let's talk about some of the offerings we've read about so far, because there was some good insight from Got Questions that I wanted to share. Here's one of them. God is not interested in taking from us. That is not his heart at all. But the lie we so often believe is that our good actions bring about his goodness, and our sinful actions must be paid for in personal sacrifice. The peace offering shows that worshipers in the Old Testament were not any more responsible for their salvation than worshipers in the New Testament. Throughout the ages, people have been tempted to think that sacrifices create God's favor. This belief is evident in our modern understanding of a peace offering as a propitiation for wrongdoing. But only Christ's sacrifice creates favor with God and covers wrongdoing. And the Old Testament sacrifices were a picture of that provision. So what I love about these Got Question link, and this one was on the peace offering, because it really does tie in the meaning of it back then and the meaning of it today. Here's another one for you. Every person has broken the law of God in one way or another, whether we realize it or not. Humanity is sinful, and we are all guilty before God. That's in Romans 3:23. It must have been painful for sinners under the Mosaic law to slaughter an innocent animal when they knew they were the ones who had done wrong. In the same way, it is painful for us to admit our guilt and to know that the innocent and holy Son of God took the punishment for our sin. But this salvation God has provided, and it is the only way. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. That, of course, is in John 14:6. Praise the Lord that sin offerings are no longer required, because we have been redeemed with the precious blood of Christ, a lamb without blemish or defect. That's 1 Peter 1:19. And again, that is all from a Got Questions link that I'm including on the sin offering. And a question that was raised about why the people were guilty for a priest's sin. And I'm including a link to that from Got Questions. I love that you all have questions and that you all will read something and think of something and sometimes send it or put it in the Facebook group, because it really makes all of us think about different things that we may not have noticed or thought about as we were doing the reading. Also including a link on the guilt offering, sometimes called the trespass offering. And so more on that as well. I think that Got Questions does a great job of really describing these if they're hard to understand or just hard to read as we go through Leviticus. Also, does everyone have their Bible by now? I'm going to stop sending those intro pages soon, so be sure to let me know if you don't have yours yet. I know a lot of them are on back order. So if you don't have yours yet, let me know. Otherwise, we're about a month in, and so I'm going to stop sending those every day. Just keep on keeping on. You're all doing great. Tomorrow is Leviticus 8 through 10. Happy reading.